everyone, it's Miss Casey from Cypress Studio. Hope you are all doing well and staying healthy at home. I can't wait to get back to our studio to do some more art with you guys. I miss you. But until then, I have created a video for you guys, so I hope you can continue watching and enjoy. Okay everyone, so to get started, you are going to need a 16 count oil pastel set. You can also use your 36 count larger set, but basically you're just going to be using your oil pastels, any colors. So we'll start with that. You also do want to have a piece of paper. It can be a white computer paper, sketchbook paper, it's totally up to you. We also are going to take a Sharpie just to label what we're doing. All right, so to begin, I'm going to choose a color. Again, you can use any color. So I'm going to take my red, and I'm just going to start by reviewing how I use the oil pastels. So if you remember, there are a few ways that we can use one piece of oil pastels. We can use the tip for small strokes. We can use the side for wide strokes. You can also press light or you can press hard. Okay, so first I'm going to use the side. I'm going to make wide strokes and I'm pressing lightly, and that's why you see all these little specks of white. That's what happens when you press lightly using the side. Now I'm going to press lightly using the tip. So I'm just going to use big strokes and just press lightly to fill in using the tip. You can see these lines that are created using the tip, but I'm still pressing lightly so you can see the little spots of white. Okay, so I'm going to label that the side light. I'm going to label this the tip light. All right. Now I'm going to take my red oil pastel again, and instead of pressing lightly using the tip, I'm going to press hard. And this is when we have shapes or areas that we want to fill in. We want to cover all those white spots using short strokes and pressing hard so you cover as much of the paper as possible. Okay, so I'm going to label that tip hard. Okay. Now for the side, you usually don't want to press hard just because that is going to still give you white spots. So either one works using the side, whether light or hard, but pressing lightly does help keep your oil pastel as nice and clean as possible. It doesn't wear it out that much, so I recommend if you're using the side to still press lightly. So I'll label that side hard. All right, so now that we reviewed how to use our oil pastels, I want to go over a few different ways that we can use our oil pastels that we may have not gone over in class. So I'm going to go again with my red, and we are going to work on hatching. Now hatching, if you've heard of it before, it is a form of shading. You can use it with graphite, you can use it with pen, you can use it with basically any medium, but you're usually just going to be drawing some lines. Kind of looks like a stripe pattern. Okay, now you can turn this technique into a crosshatch pattern as well. So this is regular hatching, but you can end up going in different directions and crosshatch to make a crosshatch pattern. And that's another form of shading that you can do in basically all mediums. Okay, so I'm going to label that hatching. And this one, cross-hatching. All right. So now another way that we can use our oil pastels, which we tend to do a lot in our projects, is blending. Now these oil pastels blend very nicely together as long as you're blending two light colors, which are analogous colors. So I'm going to take my red and I'm going to draw a circle. Okay, so I'm going to use short strokes and press hard to fill in one side of my circle. Kind of like a crescent shape. This could be my dark side, my shadow. Now if I wanted to go lighter, I can take an orange. When you blend, you want to meet right over the red and overlap the colors using short strokes and still pressing hard. Now when you overlap the colors, you can see that a little bit of the red gets brought into that orange and they mix very well together. They tend to mix together and make, with red and orange, they would make red-orange. So that's a really great technique for when you want to shade or create gradients. Okay, now for my lighter color, I can even go in with some yellow. And again, just blend right on top of that orange. And you can see how the orange gets pulled into the yellow. And you still want to use those side-to-side strokes. Keep it in a very consistent stroke pattern, because if you go in different directions when you're shading, then it wouldn't look as great as it does if it's in the same direction. All right, so this one we'll label blending. All right, so now that we've gone over how to use our oil pastels, some review and some new techniques, we are going to take a new piece of paper. So you can either flip it over to the back, or you can get a new piece of paper. Again, you can use computer paper, you can use sketchbook paper, any paper works for oil pastels. Alrighty, so I'm just gonna create a quick little design to be able to use all of my oil pastel techniques and create a fun artwork. So I'm gonna take my Sharpie. I'm going to add just a few lines. I'm maybe going to add a straight line across my paper, then maybe a curve line, and then maybe my last one will be a fun little swirl line. So I want to divide my paper up with 3 lines. Again, you can use any kind of lines. I use straight, curved, or a wavy curled line. All right, so you can put your Sharpie away. And next, you're gonna use any colors in your oil pastel kit. Again, you can use a small kit or the larger kit. And get started creating. Use all of those techniques that we learned to fill in almost every one of those sections. You do wanna try not to have the same technique touching each other. So spread those techniques out into your different sections. Alright, so that was my abstract drawing using all of my oil pastel techniques. I really hope you enjoy it, and I want you to experiment with your oil pastels, your mediums, and have fun creating this artwork. It was really fun for me, so I hope it's fun for you too. Alright everyone, so now that we're done, let's review. So we went over some of the oil pastel techniques that you have most likely used in class, and we've also covered a couple of new ones. With those oil pastel techniques, you created an abstract drawing, and you created your abstract drawing using all of those oil pastel techniques. And I hope you really experimented and got to know your oil pastel mediums a little bit better, so that way next time when we're in class, you can go ahead and show us all of the fun things that you learned. Enjoy, and I'll see you again soon.